I want to kill your neighbors.
I guess they're neighbors, but they're far, man.
Do Home Depot dads deserve rights? Let's discuss. Hello, I'm your classmate, Jackie Rose. I made a passing comment when we were still in class that I almost got hit by a train, and, you know, I joked, I'm like, oh, they pulled me off the tracks in time, Well, the thing is, that actually did happen, and, it's one of the most haunting experiences I've ever experienced. You know, I was late going to class, and I had to catch this train, and where I live, if you don't catch the train on the hour it comes, you have to wait another hour, and this class was 50 minutes. So, look, your girl was cutting it close. I knew I was cutting it close. So I get into the train station, and I'm wearing platform Doc Martens, and my bag is heavy. Ugh. Actually, reliving this is pretty traumatic, and talking about it is still really hard. It's still really hard to talk about. I get nauseous thinking about this because of how close I was to actually dying, how close I was to actually getting hit by a SEPTA train. But when you get desperate, your judgment can get really screwed up. And at that time, I had felt like if I had a third absence, my life was gonna be over. And I know how that sounds, but that was how it was at the time. I was running, I was sprinting. I sprinted as soon as I turned my car off, I was sprinting to that train because I heard it coming. I was like, that train's coming, I'm gonna get that train. So I see the train coming, and I ran even faster, and I'm like, I'm getting it. My legs were trembling, not because I was scared or because I thought I was in danger, but because of how heavy my bag was and how hard I had been running. My apologies. One of my SIM cards died. It was full. When I was running to the train, and I could feel my body start to more or less give out, even though I'm a perfectly healthy, normal 21-year-old. But, you know, if you run really hard and you're carrying weight you're not used to carrying, you know, that happens. And one of the worst things that I remember, if I hear a train horn, it actually, sends me right back into that. I hear the train horn, and I run, and I'm running in front of this train, and it's, really quickly oncoming. And, I trip. I trip in front of the train, as soon as I go to cross the tracks, because the way the train station I used set up, you had to cross the tracks to get on the platform, and I tripped, and I remember sliding. So I tripped on the tracks. I tripped on the tracks. As a train was coming. I just went face first onto the pavement, and this man was standing in front of me. And thankfully he was there. Do you see that? Do you hear the bee? Ah! Thankfully this man was there. And I also do believe that the conductor had pulled an emergency brake, because I guess if they see somebody doing that, they have to brake. That's just their protocols. They pull an emergency brake. So thankfully, the train also was able to stop technically in time. But even if the train didn't stop, thankfully this man was there to pull me off. My glasses fall off my face. I I messed my knee up. Like, I messed my knee up. I sprained my elbow. Thankfully, I didn't have to go to the hospital. I didn't even, like, bother getting checked out. I knew it was fine, but I did mess myself up. I still have the really nasty scars. Maybe I'll insert a picture of how nasty the scars are. And I remember the first thing I said when I stood up was, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." The thing about, like, making a really bad judgment call, one of the first things that comes over you is shame, embarrassment, regret, and you blame yourself. And because, you know, I made that choice, you know? I made that choice. There's this immediate thing where my brain goes to, it's like, I can't tell anybody because they're gonna all assume I'm an idiot. They're all gonna assume, they're gonna be, why did you do that? Why did you do that? That's just kind of the reactions I'm used to. And I stood up and I said, "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." The conductor was so nice. He was so nice about it. Nobody made me feel like I was a bad person. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine, I'm sorry." He's like, "Don't do that again." And I'm like, "Trust me, this was the first and last time." Whatever. He was being nice. But then, like, some of, like, the other septic dudes came out and they're like, "Are you okay? What was that about?" One of these dudes actually kicked me off a train because my septic key card wasn't working, so it's like, I'm the problem. I'm the problem passenger. I'm the problem passenger. Do you know how that feels? Not good. They picked me up. I had torn a hole in my leggings. I'll insert a picture of that too. I tore a hole in my leggings. I looked like I came out of Syria. Look, I was messed up. I'm just gonna insert all the pictures so you can see how messed up I was. And the thing is, when that happened, I got on the train. I got to school on time. And, you know, the worst thing was having to sit and deal with that and sitting with that choice all day, and then going home, and I didn't tell my parents. I live with my parents. I didn't tell them. 'Cause I'm their only child, and I know that, you know, one, they'd get mad at me. That would be number one. They'd get mad at me. That's how it feels. Like, I'm like, oh, they'll get mad at me if I tell them. But I know that's just because they care, and they would have been scared, and they would have been so heartbroken if anything happened to me. And I can't even believe I put myself in that position. And it was really hard to deal with. But yeah, I ended up talking to my mom. I'm like, "Hey, I do want to let you know what happened." We talked about it. And then I've always noticed that emotions, like really powerful, really strong emotions, work on a delay. So even if it's like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. Haha." You know, give it a couple days or even a couple weeks for it to, like, sink in. If you have that, if you can, some things are just so traumatic that, like, but yeah, I don't even think I can pull my leg out of these jeans. Here we go. See that? See that? Ugh. It's what you get for jumping in front of a highly powered locomotive.